Hello everyone, Curious Corduroy here, and today we got some absolutely massive news, and that is Kingdom Hearts 4 has officially been revealed. Now this was leaked last year in the now infamous Nvidia leak, but it is nice to get a trailer and official confirmation that the game is indeed real. So before we analyze this trailer, I do need to preface this first. I loved the first two Kingdom Hearts games. They're a massive part of my childhood, and I remember just being so excited before the release of both of those games. However, after 2, I didn't play any of the spin-offs. So when 3 came around, I was excited to start playing, but I was utterly lost in regards to the story and characters. So I'm trying my best here to piece together what happened in 3's true ending and what we're seeing in this trailer. So in the trailer, we see this new world of, I believe it's pronounced Quadrium, depending on your level of literacy, which looks a lot like modern day Tokyo, as well as Insomnia from Final Fantasy 15 and Versus 13, which is a theme that's going to be popping up a lot in this video. And it seems to be the world that Sora entered at the end of Kingdom Hearts 3 in that true ending. You know, the world with the clearly not Noctis guy. There's brief shots of the city in forest-like area where a robotic foot can briefly be seen, and some people are already speculating that this could potentially be Star Wars related, but we probably should not get ahead of ourselves here. We're also given the title for this iteration's story, and it is the Lost Master Arc. Sora, who is looking similar to how Noctis looks, is introduced to a new character by the name of, oh god, help me pronouncing this, Strelitzia, who describes her world as an afterworld for Sora. This huge heartless looking entity appears and attacks the city, only for Sora to leap into action, pulling off some signature maneuvers to fight the enemy. And this is our first introduction to gameplay. Sora leaps from a light post and begins zipping around from car to car, almost kind of like he's warp striking, and falling through an open building to initiate a drill attack on the enemy. At the very end of the trailer, we see Donald and Goofy walking around a dark cave looking for someone until they are interrupted by a blue flame and what appears to be Hades from Hercules. So I guess maybe they're looking for Hades in hopes that he can help find Sora? So a lot is happening here, and the first thing I have to point out is the game's new visual style. Sora looks incredibly different here. Very hyper-realistic in his appearance. His proportions are much more realistic, and his shoes and feet are regular size. I'm assuming this visual style is probably due to the world he's currently in, and we'll probably see a more traditional look in other worlds, especially since Donald and Goofy still have their signature Disney looks. But maybe this is a sign that we could be getting more visually realistic worlds to travel to. You know, like maybe the MCU? I also can't help but notice a lot of strong inspiration from Final Fantasy Versus 13 here. The city itself resembling aspects of Insomnia, Sora looking like Noctis, Strelitzia feeling similar to Stella, and also her name is very similar. Kinda seems like Nomura is really drawing heavily on his idea for that game. So this is pretty exciting to see, but I do have 3 major hopes for this game. First, I absolutely hope we get the return of Final Fantasy characters in Kingdom Hearts 4. Not having them in 3 until the final DLC came out was a huge disappointment as a fan, and it left a huge hole in that game's story. Final Fantasy is the main reason I got into this series in the first place as a kid, and to not have them be a part of it anymore is really frustrating. So here's hoping we get those characters back, and maybe even travel to some Final Fantasy worlds too. Speaking of worlds, my second hope is that we do get some Marvel and Star Wars characters and their respective worlds. Disney really has an expansive universe of IPs to choose from, and it would be cool to see Star Wars and Marvel elements like lightsabers and nanotech in the Kingdom Hearts universe. My last hope, and this will be really controversial, is that hopefully we get a soft reboot of the story. Take this opportunity, Nomura, to leave behind the baggage of the previous games and try to do something new and keep it simple. That's the thing, keep it simple, stupid, you know? We do see some Organization 13 characters in this trailer, and I'm fine with keeping a few around, but for the most part, I really want a new story to jump into. I want to be able to understand and appreciate the story without being lost and confused. And also, I'm just gonna throw in a 4th hope here, and that's make the gameplay fun. Kingdom Hearts 2 was so fun to play, and in comparison made 3 seem kind of like a mindless button masher at times where we were constantly hitting special attraction prompts to summon these really powerful attraction attacks. I'm really hoping that the combat resembles the flow of 2 more than anything. So again, I really hope they don't overcomplicate this story. Keep it simple. It's a great way to introduce new players to the franchise, but this is Tetsuya Nomura we're talking about, and he loves to get complicated, and the bevy of mobile games that were announced before this trailer hit are probably, and unfortunately, going to tie into the Kingdom Hearts 4 story in important ways, but hoping that is not the case. Also, just to throw out there, that Nvidia GeForce Now leak was real. Kingdom Hearts 4 was on that list, and you know what else was on that list? Final Fantasy IX Remake. I'm really crossing my fingers here that we get to see something soon in regards to FF9 Remake. It's kind of strange that they would jump from 7 to 9 to remake and not, do anything with 8, but maybe all that will get sorted out soon. So I'm really excited to see potentially something from 9 coming in the future. But I'm Curious Corduroy. If you're a Kingdom Hearts fan, let me know how you feel in the comments below about this trailer. How did you feel about Kingdom Hearts 3? Because I know I didn't hate the game, but by the end of it, I just kind of wanted it to be over. I didn't really enjoy it as much as 1 or 2, especially 2, but I would love to hear what you guys feel about Kingdom Hearts 3. Did it come out the way you want? Are you hoping 4 is going to be a reinvigoration and reinvention of the franchise? I would love to hear that below. I'm Curious Corduroy. I'll see you guys in the next video, and please remember to always be excellent to one another.